I was watching something on the AI. The V is the Vagina. It is another way to say the womb. So V for vendetta. Let's go ahead and read these comments. I was going through your comments and I was like, well, let's just go ahead and do a video on it because I liked a lot of the comments that I saw, as far as questions and so forth, that let's go ahead and answer them. Uh, uh, Laugh my what off. Stuff is sad. Yes. It's just, they're mystery Babylonians. They've taken the oath, and that's what it is. Are the left-eye people all AI? Oh yeah, I remember that one. Um, no, I don't even really understand that question. Let me say I'm not sure I understand, so I'll have a reply to it. Not, it just stays here in the comments field. If you don't click on it or reply on it, we'll leave Andrew's here at the top. And my comments. I usually get to all of Andrew's or most all of them. And what verse is it like to see it? I'm not sure what this is about either. Um, Old video. Glad you are here. Leave it at that. If you've got more to ask, and you see that, please just ask. Give me some more details so I can figure it out. Now, this is what I wanted to get to. Do you have a video explaining the esoterics behind the schools? Yes, I do. I just don't know where it's at. Always wanted to know the real reason why Alabama wins. Well, Alabama was your first state to introduce Christmas. So it was probably one of the first infiltrated states in the South. The Civil War is not what people think it was. Very staged. And South could have won actually quite easily. They threw a lot of the wars. What's his name was a heavy mystery Babylonian of the pagan Rome side. If you've ever heard of the word Jesuit, Robert E. Lee. Yeah. So, their people were the generals of both sides. It's just like all these other wars, very controlled, very planned out. And a lot of men sent to their death. But let's get back on point. Alabama is Ghost in the Machine University. They represent the AI or Satan in the technology. So, being that they rep Satan, they're number one. Now, Satan will acquiesce over right now to his people, right? That he pretends to love and work hard for, which are the mystery Babylonians. So now it's kind of moving over to Georgia, which is a derivative of that subset of Satan, because Kirby came from Nick's staff. And they have the big G on their helmet, which the big mystery Babylonian entity has the big G, I believe, for the goddess. Other people say generative principle. They will say God, but really they will say geometry. There you go. The sacred geometry. I think it's goddess. And it's also the 33rd letter of the alphabet if you keep going. If you keep going and repeating A, B, C, D all the way up to X, Y, Z and start over, with Z being 26 and the next set being A 27, B 28, G is 33, which of course is a big number. But let's get back on point again. So fraternity in Alabama, the machine.
According to Wikipedia.
So it says machine social group, right? And University of Alabama gives their name and so forth. The machine is repping the ghost in the machine, or the AI inside the technology. So what I want you to do is go to my TS Daily Bible Studies channel. They don't teach the truth in churches. Everything is fake. Free will is fake. Hell being eternal torment is fake. God loving everybody is fake. For God so loved, cosmos in the Greek, the first definition of cosmos is not what we use for our word world in American English. It was 8 definitions for cosmos. We only have about 3 definitions for world today. And you can mean the whole universe. You can mean the flat circle of the earth. You can mean the earth's population. You can mean, in the biblical sense, the ungodly multitude. Because God didn't love the whole world. Jesus said, the world hated me before it hated you, but therefore I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Very separate situation between Jesus and the world, in that sense that it's used in the definitions that we understand. But John 3:16 specific, for God so loved. What did he so love? Well, the first definition of world was appropriate harmonious arrangement, his order of things, his kingdom, his sheep, his constitution, his kingdom, his order, his word, which was all about his order, his appropriate harmonious arrangement, order, constitution, government, I believe is the exact definition. But it's for he has chosen us in him from before the foundation of the world. He loves his order of things, his family that he created. That's what God so loved. The first definition of cosmos in the Greek is what God so loved. Now you put the word world in because that's the English translation for cosmos. But then you go to the English definitions of world today, and they don't match up with all of the ones in cosmos in the Greek. Hence the movie title Lost in Translation with Bill Murray. And I forget her name. So, but the ghost in the machine is what calls the shots. It writes most all of your movie scripts, most of your songs. It tells each country what to do. One country admitted that a computer was running, I think it was Venezuela or Argentina. Computer running Venezuela. Computer running Argentina. I forget. It was in 1965. Let me see if I can find it for you real quick. Can't find it in a search, direct search. I can't remember exactly what country it was. I believe it was a South American country. And I came across it in another search. But now that I'm searching it, it's not coming up. But, you know, that's the AI for you. So the AI is the ghost in the machine. So you want to go to TS Daily Bible Studies and click playlist and go down to artificial intelligence is the ghost in the machine, mark of the beast. And you will see, now the mark is a spiritual mark. It's not, people are actually going to not take things on their foreheads or their hands, and they're not going to be forced to do it or even have a decision. They're going to be handed over to it, and they're going to be automatically possessed when they worship the image of the beast. That's a very long story. The entities are in the technology and they will flow from the technology. You know how, like in the movie The Exorcist, a girl connected with, she got possessed through the Ouija board. So it was through a device. Well, the movie Venom shows you the entity entering and taking over the body and using it as an avatar. That's what the movie Avatar is about. Long story, I keep digressing. So let's talk about Alabama. It's all over the place. So Alabama represents Satan in the technology, or Satan in the computers. Georgia represents the Mystery Babylonian system, or the first of the Lord of the Rings called Fellowship of the Ring. That's your Mystery Babylonian human element. The second, the Lord of the Rings, was called the Two Towers. That's twin trumps that have, you know, come down, and then what rises back up is One World Trade Center, or the Antichrist returns, or as the final Lord of the Rings trilogy, Return of the King. All the world's a stage. Michigan represents M for the name of the name of a member of the Mystery Babylonian organization. It's a kind of a compound word, begins with a F and then an M. They're mixed together, they're fused together. Well, Michigan represents the M word of that, which is also a person's name. Many people are named that, first name, last name, mainly first name. Ohio State represents the right eye wound of the Antichrist, Zechariah 11:17, the eye of the buck. The Antichrist is a buck deer. He is the buck horns regenerate. In the movie Skyfall, they had the buck, the deer, the antlers at Skyfall representing, and Trump's from Scotland. His mom's from Scotland. Excuse me. James Bond's mom from Scotland, 007, the Seventh King of Mystery Babylon. It's all in their connected world. But Ohio State, the dotting of the eye is about the right eye wound of the Antichrist. And notice they have purple this year, purple and scarlet. You got one purple team and 3 scarlet red teams. I'm sorry, 2 scarlet red teams and then a blue team. Blue is also one of their colors. Long story. I don't know. But yeah, each team now, LSU is right eye wound, University, year of the tiger, eye of the tiger. They have their right eye on the 50-yard line. LSU does. That, they were appointed to win in 2019. They moved a quarterback over from Ohio State. That's why they started allowing all this moving around of players freely so they can build up whatever team they want to be where from one year to the next like it's nothing, which is what they've been doing in the NFL. The G men, again, the G, the New York Giants representing that G that the Packers have on their helmets, that the Bulldogs have on their helmets. You've also got Clemson. Orange, of course, comes to 33, I think, in Chaldean gematria. And Tennessee, the orange trump. And if you Google the orange trump, they got the big T, the orange T, the orange trump. When you Google the orange Trump, you get all these pictures of Trump, orange, and because the orange comes to 33. And the Orange Bowl this year, you have the orange Trump playing the orange Tiger. Clemson is playing Tennessee. And again, year of the Tiger, orange, Clemson Tigers propped up to be winners. Tennessee was propped up this year, and they gave them Hendon Hooker, HH, which is 88, the 8th letter H, like Saturday Night Live is Studio 8H for 88. Everything's about Trump and the Antichrist. We're just waiting on his deadly wound. That's all we're waiting on. That's all we're waiting on. And if there's any other teams, just let me know. But of course, purple this year with TCU. Great catch. They do this all the time. I've noticed a few years ago in the NFL before I knew anything was fake, and I thought I was maybe seeing things, but clearly the pursuit was not 100% on the long TD runs. Yeah, absolutely. Amen. Thank you, my friend. It's good to hear from you, College Football Addict 1715. Also, another comment he made. I think that's an old video there. Not sure. It was 3rd and 2, and the Georgia defender was 17 yards off the line of scrimmage and went back 10 plus yards, which made it 27 yards from the line of scrimmage, and he was absolutely covering no one. Only excuse is he had a concussion or was out of it. Ridiculous. And which video is this that he's talking about? Where in the world am I? How did I lose him that fast? I can never click on the all right, now I'm going to assume none of y'all have ever played football before, okay, or coached it. That's okay, because you've watched it your whole life. All right, and this one here is the one that has 22,000 views. And yeah, he was playing way off the ball. And good for you noticing it was 3rd and 2. Yep. Just ridiculous. Look at that defense for 3rd and 2. I get they're in a bunch set, so you have to be aware of the bunch because they can surely trip you up in that. I just, you know what my biggest question is? What would the game be like today if it was real? Now, one big thing they would be telling you for sure is a lot of devastating injuries. And that's how they sell it to these players, besides the money they're making and the fact that they're mystery Babylonians, which they're promised great wealth and business and connections to the business world. Life after football, they're like, your roads are paved. And a lot get into the fake media part of it, but you're just going to be set up. When you go and you're going to get a job, you're going to get that job. So it's a long story. But if you're not a mystery Babylonian and you've ever wondered why people can move up so quickly where you work or where your spouse works or whatever, and you wonder sometimes what's really going on, it's that they're connected. It's not what you know, it is who you know. And but yeah, what would the game be like today? Besides a lot of concussions and a lot of injuries, if they were really out there beating the crap out of each other, which we kind of think. And there's a lot of plays where out there hitting. There's a lot of plays where they're just out there just like smash mouth, hitting, tackling, throwing guy to the ground. But in the WWE, man, those guys are hitting. They're falling off that top rope coming down. There's, it's action. And those stadiums are packed, those arenas. And it's clearly the fakest thing you've ever seen. People just love the pageantry of it. They love to go to these wrestling things. And they go to monster truck events. That's all pre-planned out too, So what's new? People like what they like. I still enjoy watching the games, but I enjoy watching them to expose them also. And I don't get emotionally involved anymore. I do not allow me to dictate how I feel about myself, which is what they were, of course, doing. I'd walk out of a stadium just bummed out. I'm like, because I've been fighting with people on social media or whatever, bragging about my team, full of pride before the Lord called me out of all that. And if you notice when you watch these college football shows, they use the word pride and proud nonstop because sheep don't use that. Pride means it's of yourself. Proud still is a derivative, even though it's used today to just mean I'm happy for you. The actual word proud and pride is about you. In other words, its truest definition originally was, I take pride in you. I take pride in how your accomplishments have come from something I did for you. Usually in parents by, I brought you into this earth. I'm so proud of you. I take pride in you. Family pride and all that kind of stuff. And of course, Jesus said, hate your mother, your father, your children, friends, family, spouses, whatever, all of it, even your own life to be my disciple. Now, he's not talking about emotional hatred, but you got to hate on them. If they're telling you to drag a Christmas tree in your house and you're like, Christmas is pagan, it's Catholic, I'm not Catholic, and I'm not taking part in a pagan holiday, you got to hate on them about that. You got to say, no, I'm not going to do it. You got to hate on the situation. But yeah, good stuff, my friend. That's an amazing video to have 22,000 views. But that's the AI that put that out there. And it's not one of my better videos. I mean, it's, it's a top 5-er, but maybe a top 10-er, but it shows that receiver in that far corner. I think it's that one there in that circle. What did he say? He's 27 yards off the ball or 22 yards off or whatever. And then he backpedals and he's just getting way out of the play. And he's bailing. So here come all these guys running. And here the guy finally comes. He was standing here and he bailed. If you can see my cursor, he bailed way out here into nowhere land where no players were. You're not taught to do that. Not even in Pee Wee League, let alone high school, college, or a top college, to be that far off the ball and at the snap of the ball to just go into some foreign country where there's nobody even 20 yards from you. And then, of course, he comes and then slow plays the run too. And bring him. Where'd he go? Oh, came from the 40, the 40-yard line. That's too crazy. Nobody. and of course comes the ability to slow play the angle and to run with people and to allow them to score. It's just, I wonder what the game would be like today if they really made sure they tackled properly and just you know, would the defenses truly dominate, or would the offense, because I really think the defenses would be a lot more prevalent than what we noticed them to be. It's just an offensive game nowadays. I think everybody would be like Georgia, just smashing and mauling everybody. I think quarterbacks get dumped on their heads plenty. And I think you'd see the quarterback rushed a lot more. And there'd be a lot more injuries to quarterbacks, and teams would be losing their quarterbacks a lot more. You really would have to make the college game like the NFL, to where you can't hardly touch them except above the waist during that time frame. Because you just can't keep losing your quarterbacks at these colleges. They only have so many on scholarship. So I just wonder, what would the game really be like if it was real? And I don't know how long it hasn't been real. I don't know if it's ever been real. Going back to the Newt Rockne days, I just don't know anymore how much of that stuff was allowed. And even if the players didn't know it, how the coaches would just call a game to throw a game. So I just don't know anymore. And Andrew said, classic in plain sight for the initiated and non-initiated alike. The Lord of War was just released, signaling what? Well, World War III's coming. As soon as Trump goes down in a fake staged event, to his right eye, it will be, I guarantee it. The Lord of War was just released. So their basis for depopulation is to defend Mother Earth. Yeah, it's all about Mother Earth for sure. They built this mousetrap so they can now go into plan B, because it's backfiring of growth at all cost. Fear is their greatest tool in deception. Deception is a close second. Yeah, thank you, my friend. Always good to hear from Andrew and College Football Addict. And Margaret, this is what she was talking about, the V for Vendetta. And I was wanting to let you know the V, that does stand for the female reproductive, the V. Margaret, the name Margaret is of German descent, German origin, and means pearl. Very interesting. It is derived from the Latin margarita, which is from the Greek word margaritas, meaning pearl. Thank you. This is Gentle Wise 1010. As an English name, it became very popular during the Middle Ages, dominating the list. Pearl, likened unto Venus. Ooh, very good with a Venus, like that. Kenan, an Irish masculine name, means Kenan is Kenan of ancient and Hebrew, possession, the Old Testament. Great grandson of Adam, biblically Kenan, first mention of Hebrew book of Genesis was given to him. Ah, my son made it. Safe and sound. That's good. Hang on. So, and then he gets into possession, or she, demon possession. And these people are, you know, what it is, everything is of the spirit world, okay? And like when somebody's an alcoholic, for instance, okay? Because that's been the biggest thing that's I've seen in my life, closest to me. Let's just put it like that. And they're not the same. It's not them anymore. And they call it wine and spirits for a reason. And the Bible is very clear that your enemies are not flesh and blood, It's principality. So it's the spirit world is your enemy. And all goats are of their father the devil. Jesus looked at him and said, "You're of your father the devil, and the works of your father you will do." He was a liar and a murderer from the beginning, or something to that effect. I believe it's John 8:44, 8:45, or John 8:44 and 45. I think it's John. But that's what he was saying. You're of your father the devil. Now, sheep are born lost, and they will live the goat lifestyle until they get the call. Most all of the church is lost. And I don't mean people that go to churches today and claim Jesus. They're just part of another world religion. I think when the Lord starts calling his at the abomination of desolation, because they won't fall for the abomination of desolation, Jesus said a deception so great that if it were possible, even the very elect would be fooled, but they won't. It's not possible. The Lord makes sure of it. So, and they will be awakened and hunted quickly by these possessed. These fallen angel entities are going to enter into them, like the movie Venom, like the movie The Exorcist. They will have extreme powers. That's what your superhero movies are about. And they will start killing sheep, lopping their heads off rapidly. Jesus said he must cut those days short. What days? Well, all the days listed that the Antichrist would reign or have rule. 2.5 years, 42 months, 1,260 days. No. It'll go very quickly. And then the Lord will have to put a stop to it. So we really go in detail on that in my Bible study channel, TS Daily Bible Studies. But anyway, thank you for your comment. Great work and video. Keep up the work and the good fight. Well, much appreciated. I now run Telling Truth 2 and Telling Truth 3, and treat each the same. You know, I want to come on and read your comments and show you about the world around us. And this channel was a backup channel. And then I started showing my fake football. I would show videos here that I wanted to show later, like movie clips, for instance. If you ever see me pop a movie clip on this channel, it's for me to use it at Telling Truth 2 to explain the predictive programming in the movie. And, well, I would pop them here. And this channel didn't have a lot of subscribers. And through the AI, I'll never be allowed to have many subscribers. But if you're here, I would like to think you're here for a reason, that the Lord put you here for a reason. Because the Lord's got power over these fallen angels, of course. Satan's just doing God's work. God, people don't understand that. God said, I create evil, I create darkness. I, the Lord, do all these things. And that's Isaiah. Well, he had to, because Isaiah 46:10 says he's created the end from the beginning. So all the evil between the end from the beginning, he had to speak into existence. And then at Isaiah 45:7, he says, I create evil, I create darkness. I, the Lord, do all these things. And Proverbs 16:4 said that he created all the evil for the day of evil, which is the abomination of desolation, when the Antichrist will have appeared to have returned from the dead. We're waiting on him to have this fake death experience that will plunge us into World War III. 2 billion will die. It will not be pretty. Tsunamis, earthquakes, everything. It's all in their predictive programming, and it is coming. And but yeah, just glad you're here. If you are a Bible person, I guess I should just go ahead and close out with showing you those real quick. Most important Bible verse in all of the Word of God. I don't care what anybody tells you, it is this verse. I was born at 10:46 a.m. and it's 46:10, so I can remember it always. Declaring the end from the beginning. Hasn't Revelation already been written, the end times book? Yes. The end has already been declared from the beginning, from Genesis all the way through to Revelation. It's all been declared. Declaring the end from the beginning. And from ancient times, Genesis, to the things that are not yet done, Revelation, saying, my counsel shall stand. I will do my pleasure. This is all for the Lord's pleasure. When we explain the no free will, it's the calling. You must be called. The Lord called you. That's your spiritual baptism. Okay, God said, I form light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. This is his world. You're just living in it. The fallen angels have no power over the Lord. Now, all the apostles were murdered by those that are of their father, the devil. John the Baptist got his head lopped off. We are all sheep are subjected to tribulation. We're not to worry about this life, this existence. And here it goes. Proverbs 16:4. The Lord hath made all things for himself. Yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. See, you have to have the abomination of desolation, the day of evil. So you have to have this wicked mystery Babylonian world running the earth to get to that point. This is all just the Lord's plan, 1000%. So anyway, thank all of y'all for your comments. Love y'all very much. Ask questions anytime. That's what I'm here for. Don't forget TS Daily Bible Study. Subscribe to that.